All right, we're looking here at Danny McAuliffe, fellow pitching coach here at Bridge. He is a senior at Pitt, University of Pittsburgh. So he sent us this video about a month ago. His velo is down a little bit, and he kind of wanted to see what our thoughts were on his mechanics. His velo is now back up, and his mechanics look a lot smoother. So we're going to kind of talk you guys through what we saw, what we kind of told him, to kind of focus on some cues and how he was able to get back into the upper nines with his velo. So we'll look here at the first video, play this through, go one more time here. So I guess we're just going a little different style here on this video. We're not necessarily going to say, what we think he did well, what we think he does well. Obviously, he's an elite thrower. He plays Division I baseball, plays high level baseball. You can obviously tell just from watching the mechanics through, he moves very well. That's why he's able to throw hard. Um, but some of the things that we saw here, which probably was leading towards his velo kind of dipping. One of the first things I saw was the arm action. So you can see here, he has a very pushy arm action right there. His arm isn't flowing, whipping through. He's kind of pushing the ball, which is not obviously how you want to release the baseball. You're not going to be throwing at your hardest when you have that pushy arm action. Um, and one of the reasons why I think that was the case was from an early yank of the glove side, and it was forcing his arm to be in this super late dragging position. And the only choice you have is to push the baseball. So, as you can see here, his shoulder is holding plane at the target, but then as soon as foot strike, he yanks that glove side. So you can really see that chest, like there's a stretch on the wrong side of the chest. You want to feel the stretch, obviously, on the right side where your arm is. He has that stretch wherever that P is, just pulling that chest out to the left. You can really see that elbow just yanking it, and then that just leaves that elbow just kind of hanging there alone, dragging through the zone, and then really the only option you have is to push the baseball. So I don't know, Alec, if you want to touch on kind of what you saw and what you were telling him.
Yeah, I think I saw something basically pretty similar to that where we thought he was pushing to just try to like have that elbow catch up so he can rotate on plane. We talk a lot about everything kind of rotating. Connected might be a term you use. Together might be a different one, but we want to see that whole upper body kind of rotate as one unit. And it looked like there was just a slight disconnection there where that glove side yanking and that arm's having to push to catch up to kind of rotate on plane. And we know Danny's a high whip thrower. I mean, he's, you know, I think top 95, but at the time of this video, he was there at like 88 to 90. And then we'll get like, but obviously he wants to get back all the way. Now we have some confounding variables here. Danny has a pretty complicated injury history. He's got multiple elbow surgeries. This is halfway through his first season back from an elbow surgery. That maybe he's starting to push and his mechanics are starting to change a little bit as that elbow fatigues or as that elbow gets a little bit painful. And it's trying to limit the most stress it can, or it's trying to limit its stress in that pitch. And so we see like as that elbow is tired, like it's gonna want to avoid that full layback position. So maybe he's trying to go and the body just subconsciously holding it back, trying to protect how much force is going to be applied there. And it gets into that weird component of performance issue, physical therapy issue, just overall load management issue. He's also pitching in the cold for the first time. You have a lot of different variables here, probably all leading to some slight differences in his mechanics over the course of the season goes. But yeah, I think we all saw that. I think at one point we were curious if he was kind of maybe jumping out of that backside a little bit early, and then he's trying to create that rotation from his upper half a little bit too soon. But he's obviously an elite mover. He throws really hard, and that's why he pitches at least at the highest level in college, as like a high leverage guy out of their bullpen.
Yeah, one other thing here that I'm kind of noticing here, and I've seen Danny throw a bunch of times. I've seen his like mocap at drive line, so like I've seen his clips, and he's always thrown this way. But I wonder if his stride is almost too long.
Yeah,
He gets so far down the mound that it's like it's that's a hard position to rotate from when you're so stretched out. And he does a really good job at finishing, like blocking and finishing his rotation, but it's almost like his hip is like playing catch up, his back hip, because of how far down he gets the mound. So
yeah,
I wonder if I don't know if he's ever messed around with that. I know a lot of times like especially like younger guys, and he's probably thrown this way for a while, but like they feel like they want to jump down and like really get down the mound, which you definitely do want to travel down the mound. But I do wonder if he's getting too far extended with that front side, getting down the mound to the point where he's actually hindering himself and not allowing himself to to fully rotate from the backside. Like I said, he does a good job at really finishing that rotation, and he does a great job using his I mean, he's out there, man. Like he's throwing the ball from freaking
yeah.
52 feet right there. Like he's down the mound. But I wonder if he tones down his stride length and allows himself to just focus on just the rotating, if that would allow for better timing overall. And who knows if you see a velo jump, maybe you don't see a velo jump, but maybe you see more consistency with just your mechanics, your more repeatable mechanics, executing more pitches. Who knows? I just don't know. That's something I would like to mess around with him when he gets down here. Just out of curiosity, I want to see kind of what that would do to shorten that stride length a little bit. But
Yeah, I think it actually is something we messed with in fall ball, if I remember correctly. Like he sent us a couple videos and we were like, hey, you look jumpy off that back foot. Um, and I think it was something the pit coaches also had talked to him about. Of like they thought he was kind of overstriding off that backside and he's getting into like such a this long position that his hips couldn't clear or they couldn't clear with good timing. And
yeah,
it just seems like a lot of what's going on right here in this video is it's really just like a timing or sequencing issue. He still has that velocity in him. It's not like anything has, he doesn't have like this material change there. It's just like these slight timing issues. All of a sudden, it takes you down 4 or 5 miles an hour in season. Granted, it's going to come with some fatigue and some other factors there. It's not just one. But yeah, you start to notice like these slight little differences in season there, and sometimes they're helpful, and sometimes your body's trying to compensate around it. It's going to cost you a couple ticks of velocity, um, and we know how important velocity is to these college pitchers. The harder you throw in, the more leeway you have to kind of miss. Basically, you don't want to miss with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. But all of a sudden you're up to like 93, 94. You have a little bit more leeway with that velo where, you can miss. The batter's gonna better chance that he's gonna foul one off or he's just gonna kind of swing a little bit late past it.
well, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look here at his the other video we have here of Danny. So this was taken this past weekend. They were playing UNC, I believe. Um,
I think that's
so
right.
yeah, looks like UNC at home in Pitt. We'll play this one time through. Play it again here. But as you can see, the first thing that just jumps off to me is his arm is just whipping through now. Like if looking at the top clip, I know the bottom clip is a little zoomed out. These are obviously just like game footage from whatever they give them at Pitt, but that arm is not pushing through. That arm is getting into a good spot, and it's flying through the zone there, which is great. Um, Looking here too at the lower half, like I don't think he necessarily he's shortened his stride, but his rotation looks
Oh,
cleaner. It's like his back hip is clearing a little bit better there, which is allowing the arm to not have to push through the zone. He's not yanking, as you can see on the other clip, you could really see in this position here, you could see the tension that he had in his left pec and his left shoulder, and you can see here there's none. He's not pulling that front side open, which was leading to that pushy arm action. He's kind of just grounded with that front side to create like a point of rotation for his trunk there. And you can see even here, like his glove stay like before his other clip, his glove was probably a foot to the left over there, just yanking wide open. His chest was wide open. So much better changes there. Keeping his direction to home plate there. Um, and yeah, like I said, his rotation, which he probably didn't even necessarily. Maybe he did work on a little bit of rotational stuff. Maybe that's just kind of part of his, week to week kind of work that he's doing at practice and whatever it may be in the weight room. But overall, like it just to me, night and day difference there in in the arm action, keeping his direction, rotation, and that's worth 4 or 5 miles an hour. It went from 88 to 90 to what, like he said, like 91 to 93, maybe a top of four.
Yeah, something
Uh,
like that.
so yeah, so definitely, and that's the hardest part about pitching is to the naked eye and to a non, I guess, pitching coach or PT guy. To you look at these two clips and you're like, what's the difference? It's like, oh, there's all the difference in the world. There's a difference of 5 miles an hour right there, and it's such small minor changes that are you need to be on top of everything with that. Um, or else, like I said, you let small little things linger, and next thing you know, you're down 8 miles an hour. You went from throwing 90, now you're back down to low 80s. You're like, what the heck just happened? I was throwing upper 80s, 90s consistently, and you let a couple things just linger, and they became kind of part of your normal motion now. And now, like I said, your reel is down. So that's why pitching is so tough, and being not only getting and figuring out how to throw hard is hard, but maintaining that is a whole another process. That a lot of times kids think they figure it out, they pop a 90 in a bullpen, they're pumped up, and then they think that's it. And then they come in the next day, the next week to throw, and they're 85. Like, what the heck happened? I just hit 90. Why am I not hitting 90 every single? It's so it's constant need for adjustment, change,
Yeah,
and always evolving.
yeah, I agree with what we're looking at here. I think his stride is actually the same. He kind of gets way out there again. I think a lot of the change is just like a little bit better sequencing, and there's a chance he just sequenced everything there. Just better with that glove side where he hasn't just he's just not ripping like it's milliseconds, but he's just holding that slightly longer, and it just gives him a little bit better sequencing to kind of come through there all on plane. Um, just like kind of slowly coming through without just like having to push that arm to get all the way through.
For sure. I also think one other thing that I would like to kind of see Danny try out is to get a little bit more extension on his release. So I think he obviously, like we said, he travels very well down the mound, maybe a little too far with the stride. That's not something that you're going to change at this point in the season, though. That's an off-season thing. But
Yeah,
one thing I would want him to try to feel a little bit is getting a little bit more extension on his release, like I said. So if you see here where he's releasing the ball, he's essentially releasing the ball directly next to his head, obviously in his like kind of high three-quarter arm slot that he has. Um, so one way that I would kind of try to feel this a little bit is I don't know if he's a long toss guy, but if he is, just ripping some pull downs on the way in from a long toss, anywhere from like 120 to 150 feet, keeping it low, and you really have to feel that extension out in front to be able to hit your partner in the chest there. And then it can translate to the mound. But that's the one other piece that I would want to try to see Danny do is try to, like I said, just feel a little bit further out with his ball release. And like I said, he's very long down the mound, so his arm already has a good amount of area to travel. So now I'm saying to travel even further. So he'd have to have it's again, this may not be something you think about maybe in the bullpen on the mound, but maybe this is something just in catch play you just think about and see if it'll just translate itself. Again, at this point of the season, he's probably got a handful of games left before the ACC tournament, and then hopefully they get into the NCAA tournament. But um, yeah, I think trying to feel that extension out in front could be good for him and kind of work a little bit more downhill. I know he's a four seam guy. He could get maybe a little bit more behind the ball, create a little better backspin, and then same thing with like the changeup and the slider. He doesn't throw a curveball, does he?
No,
Is it
I think he's more of a sinker
slider?
guy too. He's got that supinated release where he,
Yeah.
and which
Well,
is
even
part
this,
of the reason why he's all the way out there.
yeah. So even that too, kind of getting on top of that, to kill even more vert. But
Um,
that's all I got for him.
but but yeah, I noticed the cue he uses a lot, where he's trying to have his throwers like feel that right shoulder kind of snap down to that left side, or same idea like with his glove side there, not yanking it off, but instead trying to feel that right pec kind of come around that glove. So instead they're trying to like use that glove side to get down the mound, you're trying to really hold that glove side and bring that right pec around it at through that like stretch shortening cycle. Um, he and I mean he preaches it, and sometimes just knowing too much there, it's hard to kind of self-assess you. So he sends us these random videos to just share his thoughts. Makes it kind of fun for all of us. But yeah, like the best thing I'd do is like, hey, Danny, if this is one of your clients there, like, hey, you're probably gonna have them try to figure out how to come through with that right side a little bit better and bring that arm and bring that elbow around that glove side rather than use that glove side to get yourself down the mound and rotate to create space.
For sure. Cool. Well, yeah, so kind of cool to look at two different videos, kind of see the before and after of a couple mechanical changes and you see a high level thrower, kind of what they have to go through during a season. So they have to make changes right there because if Danny doesn't make that change, he's still high 80s when we know that he's not a high 80s guy. He's a low to mid
Yeah.
90s guy. So that's gonna happen to you mid-season where you kind of lose yourself a little bit. You gotta figure out ways to get back to what you do good and figure out what's not going well. And he did a good job making an adjustment. Took just a few weeks, couple outings probably to get back to where he was. Obviously, I'm sure he wants to throw even harder than that. I mean, he probably wants to be mid upper 90s guy. So he's going to keep working throughout the offseason and stuff. So we'll see kind of where he goes and how he throws. So, but
All
all
right.
right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, guys.